The funny thing is, the people who are making the Flat Earth videos watch Simon Dan's videos. So they see like clips and snippets and portions of this that people link across all kinds of social media. Some of them come to actually check out his videos specifically. And so they're aware that he has completely shattered this entire theory with the level more than once, and they're like, yeah, we got you now. Here's another one. You think you're going to get us a second time? Watch this. Try for 3. Like, oh my god, it's so dumb.
Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Yes, I am back.
Hello, Levi.
Thank you very much for joining me. Now, before we begin today, a quick thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Raycon. Raycon is on a mission to prove that you shouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg for quality sound or essential smart tech listening features. It is a no BS product. Thanks to Raycon, you're paying half the price for the same, if not better quality earbuds. Now, summer has officially started here on the south coast of the UK, which means I'm out in the garden listening to my playlist whilst pottering around doing little jobs here and there. Now, the best thing about Raycons is the incredible 8 hours of playtime. It's really, really good. And the crystal clear, cool quality. It's like having a chat with my neighbour across the garden fence.
Hello, Elias. I think that this is funny because he's talking about summer starting in the south of UK, and it's like, you look at the majority of the U.S. in the summer, and it just, like, they're complaining about 80 degrees and how they're melting in the U.K. That's the difference.
Listen, Raycon knows that in this economy, every purchase needs to be...
I guess it's also important to point out that across, not the U.K., but Europe, I believe, it's all of Europe, only like 10% of the population or so has air conditioning. Whereas in the United States, 90% of homes have air conditioning. So it's, you know, that is a bit of a difference to keep in mind when we make fun of the fact that 80 degrees is people in Europe melting because it's too hot. Well, specifically the UK melting.
Perfect. They offer buy now, pay later options where you can pay as little as $18 at the checkout. They offer free domestic shipping, or they can ship internationally for a flat fee. And they've got an easy and free return guarantee. So it's no wonder that Raycon has over 50,000 5-star reviews. Click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/SimonDan to get 15% off your first purchase of Raycons. Right,
that's right. Everybody needs some Raycons.
The first part of a mini-series looking at the new Flat Earth documentary, Level With Me. Today we're going to take a look at the first 10 minutes or so, so let's get on with it.
I like that he limits himself to like 10 minutes or so of the Flat Earth documentaries at a time, because he knows that he might want to have an aneurysm to alleviate the pressure buildup on his brain of just trying to handle the dumb. We need to accept the fact that Earth is flat and the moon is hollow and the sun is a whale, and the flat Earth is carried on the back of a tortoise all throughout the cosmos, and all of space is just a projection.
Okay, level with me here. There's this idea that we live on a ball and it's spinning, traveling through space at unfathomable speeds, yet you can't measure it, you can't repeat it or observe it. At this point it becomes a religion. What are you holding on to? Do you care what other people think? Are you just worried what your friends and family are going to say? Is it your satellites? Is it your aliens? There are no satellites in the vacuum of space. Satellites are satelloons.
Well, we're off to a flyer, aren't we? Satelloons? I'm assuming he means that all satellites are just balloon satellites suspended above what he believes is a plane. Well, as of the time of filming, using the website Orbiting Now, we can see that there are currently 7,915 objects orbiting Earth as we speak. Now, most of those are in low Earth orbit, but it is an orbit all the same. Additionally, I don't think a weather balloon can propel an object 27,000 miles an hour. Do you?
I'm happy he explained what the hell a Saddaloon is, because I did not put together that that's a satellite on a balloon, but that's hilarious. Hey, Tangy, welcome back. Saddaloons, jeez. I also like how this guy started out his whole thing naming everything in the scientific method that has to be done over and over again for the theories of science to be accepted and spread, taught theories of science. This is hilarious. Oh yes, there's a lot of people who still think the Earth is flat, and every Friday we watch something about it.
You're aliens. Let's say you're an outer space alien fanatic. What if I told you can have your aliens too? That they come from outer space, not upper space, but outer space.
Now, this is Flat Earth Millionaire, who I once won $200,000 from in a video challenge. Still waiting for that, by the way. And he is making the misunderstanding here that space is up because he believes he lives on a giant space pizza. Now, it is up, of course, from a gravitational perspective, which means it's also outer, because everything below our feet, downwards, is inner, towards the inside of our planet.
They are...
His explanation makes perfect sense, but let's think about it from a flat Earth perspective. If we're just on a disk that's frisbee thrown through the cosmos or whatever they think about it that way, is beneath our feet an inner or just an under? And what they're calling an outer should be called an upper. It's so ridiculous.
Extraterrestrials. Terrestrial meaning terrain, meaning land. So what is it? What's stopping you? You've never seen curvature with your own eyes. You never felt the Earth spinning. You've never been able to observe and measure these planes. So at this point, it becomes a religion. Do you want to become free? What if there's thousands upon thousands of other continents? What if there is an actual creator? This place was designed for a purpose. This isn't an accident.
This guy's gonna go on, well, maybe not in this portion of his documentary, but he believes in the like One Piece world, basically, how I described it, where you've got the world is the disc, and then they pull up their little thing. Let's see if we can actually find it, because I think this is hilarious every time. Is it the ice wall map? It is. It is. This is hilarious. See, they believe in a One Piece world. We live here in the inner circle. This is the Earth we're used to, and then all this ice is Antarctica. And that's what keeps the water in. And it's what keeps all of us from all these other continents that apparently now have names. I didn't see names on the map last time, but this is okay. Whatever, it is what it is. This is their world now. And they've got their own continents here. And the reason they don't want us to know about these continents is because if we know about these continents, then we might have access to the resources, and all the problems of the world don't seem to make any sense. So they're keeping that from us and somehow still managing to access all these resources and wealth. I like their One Piece world because it makes me laugh. But that's about all that it does.
Yes, because designing a world with creatures that 99% of the time can or want to kill you is a great idea. If this world truly had a designer, then why make things hard to get? Why make the ocean non-drinkable? Why make it intentionally difficult to extract and process minerals from the Earth's surface? You get my point.
Would your life change? We're all supposed to live in abundance. We're all supposed to be here for a purpose and learn and love and live.
Got no problem with that whatsoever.
No, actually, that's just kind of a good perspective on how people should be in general. But to answer your question, if a meteor hit us, does our bowl tip? The flat earthers don't believe that there's actually meteors. It's all a projection. It doesn't actually hit us. And if there is something outside of the dome over the Earth that can hit that surface, it gets deflected off like a force field. It's magic. It's magical sky magic, I guess. All of a sudden, the ocean's just on the floor, like handing a bowl of cereal to a toddler. Yes, yes, that would definitely dampen their theory, but they think that there's just a magical force field above the Earth. So, they're ridiculous.
Makes me wonder why these people care so much about the shape of the Earth, if that truly is their attitude.
Being on a ball from an accident of a Big Bang, evolved from monkeys.
Monkey-like ancestors, actually.
That's no way to live. That's no way to perceive life. You're an accident. You have no purpose. What's stopping you?
Being an accident doesn't mean you can't have a purpose.
We're in the middle of a storm. I need to find out who's behind all this. Jeff, what the hell are you?
Coming into existence by chance doesn't mean you can't have a purpose. Now that is a very dogmatic and narrow-minded way to think, which is a way of thinking more likened to religion than knowing that the Earth is a globe.
Look.
His point is very valid. That is more like a religion than just thinking the Earth is a globe. And I just think it's funny that they bring up religion at all. Like, that he's bringing up religion in, like, a weird context, like it somehow disproves what they think or something, because they're treating something religiously, is very odd to me. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do with that, but it makes about as much sense as it does to try and have this, like, one-on-one perspective of him looking at the camera and connecting with his audience while he's making this monologue to a drone that is changing its altitude, and he's still like, oh yeah, let me stare at it. Like, why is that how you decided to film this? You thought that was good cinematography and made sense?
Look out here. There's no curvature.
Well, not in your backyard, no.
120,000 feet, 30,000 feet, it's nowhere to be seen. Where's the curve? It's time to pay attention. It's time to wake up. It's time to become free.
Now, with all due respect, you lot have been saying this for almost 10 years. 10 years, guys. No one is really interested in waking up to the reality that you're selling. You're done, mate. It's over.
For the effect? Okay. I think it's just because he had the money to afford a toy and wanted to use it and show that he has one. Look at the things that I have that you don't.
8, 7, 6. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
On January 28, 1986, CNN watched the Challenger launch live on the air with its viewers.
Oh my days, change the record. Come up with something new.
They and the other media outlets told you that the astronauts died in the explosion. But as always, there is an agenda behind every mainstream headline.
And what agenda exactly would you have regarding the death of 7 astronauts?
There's a whole YouTuber section at Walmart. That's sadly pathetic. Like, that's actually sadly pathetic. And I know it's easy to get a drone. The thing is, to have a drone for certain purposes in certain places, you actually need a pilot's license to operate it at that capacity. Like filming and things like that, a lot of the time require you to get a license in a lot of places now because of that. So it kind of depends on stuff. And it's like, I don't think he actually owns the drone. I think he just paid somebody who has a license to go out there and fly a drone for him, and he wanted a shot that was going to show that he could afford to pay somebody to do the drone thing. Wow, that is fairly ridiculous that they sell all that. God. I'm not even gonna. Never mind. I'm not gonna do it.
This morning, that looked as though they were not going to be able to get off.
1 minute 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
Looks like a couple of the solid rocket boosters blew away from the side of the shuttle in an explosion.
Flight controllers here looking very carefully at the situation. Obviously a major malfunction. We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded.
Today is a...
Oh no! Look at the ominous child in the cloud of death. You see his face there? Just looking. You thought you could reach the heavens. Little did you know I have a force field to repel you.
A day for mourning and remembering. Nancy and I are pained to the core by the tragedy of the Shuttle Challenger. We know we share this pain with all of the people of our country. This is truly a national loss.
And it was a terrible accident which, upon investigation, looks like it could have been avoided. Richard Feynman himself was keen
I hope he
in
explains
figuring
this.
out what went wrong. Now, he discovered that an O-ring seal on one of the solid rocket boosters failed because of the particular cold weather that day. Now, watch this.
Oh, I took the stuff that I got out of your seal and I put it in ice water. And I discovered that when you put some pressure on it for a while and then undo it, it maintains, it doesn't stretch back, it stays the same dimension. In other words, for a few seconds at least, and more seconds than that, there's no resilience in this particular material when it's at a temperature of 32 degrees. I believe that has some significance for our problem.
Genius.
And there were also reports given that, if I'm not mistaken, it was for the Challenger specifically, where they had said they'd received recommendations to change the launch date or launch time because of the temperatures being so low, and that there were people involved that said that this wasn't safe, and that was the recommendation that was pushed out, and they were told to push forward with the launch anyways. So it's kind of just the way the cookie crumbles on that one, but you know, that's why now they have certain standards for the types of O-rings and materials that get utilized, and why they have certain procedures to prevent that from happening again. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll probably say it 1,000 more times while we're going through things like this. The government, the military, etc., their little alphabet soup groups, they write safety regulations of what you must do with certain things because of things that they've learned that either caused destruction to buildings or equipment or cost people's lives, to learn those lessons. Those are the things that in their regulations and in all their different regulatory books is going to say that they have to do things to a certain standard and they have to do things a specific way. Sadly, this type of thing has to happen for them to have that kind of a lesson. They try to mitigate it as much as they can along the way, but nobody had tried to launch shit into space, really, at that kind of scale that we were in the 60s. So there was a lot of mistakes and a lot of lessons to be learned, because you can only predict so much without actually encountering the problems that you're going to face when you're venturing into the unknown.
7 NASA astronauts supposedly killed in the 1986 Challenger disaster did not die in the explosion and are quietly living out their lives in the US, with many of them hiding in plain sight, using their same names and working at high levels in the same fields they worked in before the disaster.
Yes, because if you were part of a government cover-up that involved you living a secret life because you were supposed to be dead, you'd absolutely use the same name and work in the same field, wouldn't you? Now, this is what makes me laugh about flat earthers. Not once, when this theory started circling, did one flat earther say, well, that's a bit rubbish, isn't it? We'd absolutely change your name.
Yeah, it makes me think these people believe that everybody who's in the CIA and does any kind of spy work, or really any intelligence agency that's doing undercover work, even if it's just the local police department doing undercover work in like a local criminal organization, a local gang or whatever it might be, that those people are going into that using their real name and their real identity and all their real information about who they are and where they live in their past. And it's not a fabricated person in existence to get them into that organization as an undercover agent or officer. No, we're just going to keep the names the same. Like we don't know how to keep people relatively hidden. Come on.
According to explosive evidence uncovered by investigators.
We've located 6 out of 7 of them.
By investigators, you of course mean David Weiss of the channel DITRH, the man who has been debunked more times than I can remember.
In the world of deception, it's really easy to say this person is that person, and there's a lot of that going on, muddying the water.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Imagine spending the time and money to design an entire website for yourself and calling it Flat Earth. Insert your first name. So for him, it's flatearthdave.com.